We just want to take establishment media and then blog sites. I write for firedoglake.com, so I was credentialed because we had, we were established enough, I guess. And so now the Bradley Manning Support Network can get in. The bigger press freedom issue is the fact that we do not have access to court records. I, in fact, am a plaintiff on a lawsuit that the Center for Constitutional Rights is bringing, or has been bringing, and others that are signed on, I just rattle them off, are Glenn Greenwald, are Amy Goodman, and Democracy Now!, The Nation, Jeremy Scahill, even Julian Assange and WikiLeaks added their name to it, and then Chase Madar, who is the author of a book, The Passion of Bradley Manning, are all people who have put their names to this, and along with another fellow journalist, Alexa O'Brien, who has done tremendous work making sure that there's some sort of public record out there that people can read. Her website is alexaobrien.com, and she does have a list of the transcripts that she's produced from being there almost every single day. And it's the only public record we really have. Recently they did open up what they call the Freedom of Information Act reading room. The only problem that I had initially was when I went there, Mozilla gave me this notification that I maybe didn't want to go to this website, like it was malicious or something. So I immediately figured they're probably added some extra surveillance tool to this so that they can tell who is reading the documents. And so that didn't make me feel too good about this new openness and transparency. But when I went to the website and I looked, and the problem here with what they have done in this is that they put 84 of over 500 different rulings, court orders, motions, everything that they could put up. They've only put like 84 of them up. 23 to 30 of them are actually just these like requests for mental illness records on Bradley Manning, which, so I guess if you went there, you would have like your insight into him colored by him being mentally ill. And so the big thing is that we've had these major rulings about how he was confined at Quantico, and that constituted unlawful pretrial punishment. We've also had this major ruling about speedy trial and whether his rights were violated in that respect. And the judge found that he was unlawfully punished. She did not find that his speedy trial rights were violated. But each of these rulings, to talk about the press freedom issue, each of these rulings were read in the courtroom by the judge. None of us got access to read them, and so we sat there at our computers, or maybe one of us with a pen, but all of us were mostly using computers, and trying to keep up with this judge who read about 180 words per minute, and no breaks, over an hour, and the Guardian's Ed Pilkington, who was there, just calculated it and just tried to figure out. And you can barely keep up with that. Like a really good typist cannot keep up with that. And so that means that we missed something. And then what I was hearing in the speedy trial motion was a list of dates, because it was important to track where he had been, how things had gone in the timeline of the case, and listing alphabet agencies, soup, just CIA, FBI, DHS, all running together because they have had issues with getting evidence from agencies for the court-martial. And so I just wanted to make that clear to people. And the biggest key to the dilemma is that they're running this not through the First Amendment, but through the Freedom of Information Act. And that is the biggest issue, because the reason why they don't give us court records is because they say we should submit a FOIA request. And that is not
the bad part about FOIA.
Right, but it's also, I think it's also incorrect the way that they are handling it, because under the First Amendment, I believe they should be making these court records available the day of. They already do that with the Guantanamo military commissions. And the press fought that battle. The press organizations got together and forced the Pentagon to open that up so people could see that. So the favorite thing that a lot of us like to say now is that there's more transparency for 9/11 terror suspect trials than there are for Bradley Manning's proceeding. But that goes for all court-martials. And so we haven't, CCR hasn't let up on this case. because we believe that in terms of media, it's actually a major, potentially profound First Amendment case that if we were to get a ruling where a judge in this military court said all military records had to be public, what that would mean is you could have cases of sexual assaults where all the records were available during that proceeding. You could have cases of people who were accused of killing innocent civilians or war crimes, and you could see those records and either see how the military was covering up or deciding to prosecute those people. And that would be very important. I mean, I guess I'll just, I don't want to go on too much more, and I'll take questions, and other people here will have things to say. But just to establish where we are at with the proceedings so that everybody in this room is clear, there's a trial on June 3rd that is scheduled. And I have been saying, I said this in a panel event in New York City last night, I want to make clear that the military does not have to go forward with the charges. And even if anyone in this room would think Bradley Manning should be held responsible and do time because it was an act of civil disobedience and you'd expect it to be punished and you do that, he has pled guilty to some of the charges. So right now he faces a maximum sentence of 20 years, and he pled guilty to possessing information unlawfully, willfully communicating that information to WikiLeaks, and to engaging in conduct that was service discrediting to the military. These are all violations of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. What his defense does not admit to is violating federal laws. And so that's something I want to make clear, is that they've separated it and said that these other federal laws, I don't think that you could prove. So that means under the Espionage Act. And anyone who was at Amy Goodman, hearing her talk at the last panel session, she mentioned that more whistleblowers than any other administration have been prosecuted, and what she's really directly referring to is the number of cases we've seen brought under the Espionage Act. And Bradley Manning is one of those people who is being prosecuted under the Espionage Act. But he's also being prosecuted for, quote-unquote, aiding the enemy, which has its own incredible ramifications for press freedom if you get into it. And then he also faces this accusation of violating a federal larceny statute, of saying that he stole, purloined, or converted the information and then gave it to WikiLeaks. And the problem with that is that he worked in an intelligence facility where he was able to access this material all the time. So it's very difficult to say, the defense's argument is that it wouldn't have been stolen because he was able to, he didn't do anything to break into the computer to get that material. So we'll leave it at that for now. I know other people will have questions.